It was a quiet evening in a small roadside diner in Arizona, USA. Families chatted softly, truckers sipped hot coffee, and travelers rested after long hours on the highway. Warm lights filled the wooden interior, creating a peaceful atmosphere that made the outside desert night feel far away. Everything seemed calm and ordinary until a sudden burst of noise shattered the stillness. A group of teenage boys stormed in, loud and careless, their behavior drawing uncomfortable glances from nearby tables. No one expected what would happen next, nor how quickly the mood inside the diner would change. The boys spotted a disabled girl seated alone near the window, her hands trembling slightly as she tried to eat. Instead of offering help or simply ignoring her, they chose cruelty. One pushed her plate, another mocked her movements, and then one raised his hand and slapped her. A gasp rippled through the diner, but fear kept everyone frozen in place. People stared, pretending not to see, hoping the situation would end on its own. But one man refused to look away or stay silent, even though standing up meant stepping into danger. Daniel Harper rose from his booth, his expression firm and unafraid. He was a traveler known for helping small communities, someone who believed that kindness was a responsibility, not an option. He walked straight toward the bullies, placing himself between them and the terrified girl. His voice cut through the chaos as he said, "That's enough. Leave her alone right now." His tone carried a weight that made the boys hesitate. After a tense moment, they backed away, muttering under their breath before fleeing the diner completely. Silence settled again, but now it carried a different energy, one mixed with relief and gratitude. The girl looked up at Daniel with teary eyes, her voice barely above a whisper as she said, "Thank you, no one ever steps in for me." Daniel knelt beside her, reassuring her gently until she felt calm enough to continue her meal. The staff apologized repeatedly, embarrassed they hadn't acted sooner, but Daniel simply shook his head. To him, doing the right thing didn't require thanks or recognition. It was just something every person should do. Later that night, Daniel returned to the open highway, the diner fading behind him as he drove deeper into the desert. The sky was dark, almost moonless, and the cold wind had begun sweeping across the empty land. He kept his headlights focused on the long stretch ahead, but something small and motionless appeared on the shoulder of the road. Slowing down, he realized it was a young child, thin, shivering, and clearly exhausted. Daniel pulled over immediately and rushed out, realizing the boy belonged to the Apache community, identifiable by his traditional features and clothing. The child was starving, barely able to speak, his lips dry and his eyes filled with fear and confusion. Daniel wrapped him in his jacket, spoke softly to help him feel safe, and offered water and food from his emergency supplies. After calming him, Daniel contacted the local Apache tribal center and stayed with the boy until help arrived. He watched as the tribal representatives carried the child away with deep concern and relief. Daniel thought that his role in the situation had ended there, just another moment where fate placed someone in his path who needed help. But unknown to him, this small act of compassion was only the beginning of a much larger story waiting to unfold. The morning was calm, filled with soft sunlight that warmed Daniel's wooden porch as he enjoyed his first cup of coffee. He expected another quiet day, nothing more than the usual routine after long weeks of traveling. But then he noticed three figures approaching from a distance, three women walking slowly along the dusty path toward his home. Their traditional clothing moved gently in the breeze, and their presence felt calm yet purposeful. Daniel's curiosity grew with each step they took. He sensed that this was not an ordinary visit, and whoever they were, they carried a story with them. As they came closer, Daniel realized they were Apache women, elders from the same tribe to which the starving boy belonged. Their expressions were serene, their footsteps steady, and their eyes held a depth that only comes with age and wisdom. Daniel felt himself standing up instinctively, unsure what had brought them here but aware that their presence held significance. These were women who did not travel without reason. Their respectful yet firm posture made it clear that this visit was not accidental or casual. Something meaningful was about to be said. The eldest woman stepped forward, her voice soft yet powerful as she spoke. She told Daniel that the child he rescued had been missing for 2 days before he found him on the roadside. The tribe had been searching desperately, fearing the worst. "You protected one of our children when he had no one," she said gently. "Our tribe remembers kindness." Her words carried the weight of generations, a reminder that gratitude in their culture was not expressed lightly. Daniel, taken aback, felt humbled by the sincerity in her tone and the emotion behind her words. Then the woman reached into a small pouch and pulled out a handcrafted pendant, beautiful, intricate, and carved with symbols passed through centuries of Apache tradition. She placed it carefully in Daniel's hands. It was an Apache sacred pendant, a token of deep respect rarely given to outsiders. It was not just a gift, but an acknowledgement of honor. Daniel stared at it, overwhelmed. He had never expected anything in return for helping a hungry child. To him, it had been a simple act, something any human should do when seeing someone in need. The women explained that the pendant represented protection, courage, and the connection between human hearts. They told Daniel that by saving the child, he had unknowingly touched the entire community, restoring hope in a world where kindness often felt lost. Daniel listened quietly, unable to fully express what he felt. He had always believed in compassion, but he had never witnessed such a profound response to it. Even after the women thanked him again and turned to leave, he stood frozen, holding the pendant as if it were something fragile and sacred. When the women disappeared down the path, the morning air felt different. Daniel looked around his quiet porch, the desert stretching endlessly before him. He realized that small acts truly ripple out in ways we cannot predict. All he had done was stop for a hungry, frightened child, yet that single moment had reached the heart of an entire tribe. And in that moment, Daniel understood something powerful, that kindness never goes unnoticed, even when it seems small. It always finds its way back, sometimes in ways more beautiful and unexpected than we can imagine.